Hello everyone, Sarah here at Three Little Potters, and I am so excited to be reviewing these new Amico glazes. Today I'm going to do Tuscan Blue, part of the Potter's Choice lineup. Really excited to see more glazes in that line. I hope it's going to be excellent. I'm going to test it over and under a whole bunch of different glazes from different brands, and it's going to be exciting. All right, let's go. Okay, first of all, I'm going to start, I don't have a ton of Kentucky brown bear clay left, and I know that I wanted to do a test over brown bear. So even though this is not really one of my normal test bowls, I'm going to go ahead and just put it right on this alpine little house and see what happens. So my thought here is that I'm going to leave the section at the front of the house will be just ×3 of Tuscan Blue for our control. And then I think on the roof I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of flux and see if that'll give the glaze some more movement. But we'll at least be able to see the coverage on a dark clay. I might do something different on the door. All right. So this right here has currently one brush coat of Tuscan Blue going on with the second coat here. This is Imco's Papaya Porcelain Clay. Most of my samples today are going to be on B-Mix. So I'm going to go ahead and put a second coat on all of these, and then I'll be right back. All right. One down, many more to go. While those few are drying, I am going to go ahead, if I can make myself some room here, I'm going to go ahead and put it over some other glazes. Okay, so this is this little ring dish has been dipped in Studio White. That's my glaze. And I'm going to put just one brushed coat right over that. This is my night glaze, similar to Amico's Obsidian. That night glaze is Hansen 20x5 with 5% black mason stain. Just like that. We'll see if it crawls. Chancifo. This is a mixed glaze. I have a video up on it on my page if you'd like to check out that one. Try your hand at mixing some of your own. Doesn't mean you have to give up the commercial glazes, just a way to save some time. All right, this is 2 brushed coats of Winter Wood. Tuscan Blue right over the top. You know, the description of this Tuscan Blue said it was more of a semi-matte glaze. So Winter Wood being a little bit matte itself, I'm not sure how that's gonna look. That might not be the best combo, but we'll see. All right, 2 brushed coats of Lunar Pink. This one is 2 brush coats of Cirrus Flow. I'm hoping some of these flexier glazes will move that from semi-matte to more of a gloss glaze. My variegated Dove Gray with a little boo-boo of Chansey foam that I splashed. So if there's a weird color in one spot, we'll know what that was. My Dove Gray does well with floating blues, so I'm hoping that this Tuscan Blue will also look nice on it. If you're looking up that recipe, it is variegated Dove Gray. Okay, this has Ancient Copper with sort of a blank spot in the middle where it's just, well, I spilled a little extra, but. So I'm doing kind of like a globbed on layer of the Tuscan Blue right there in the middle. I'm going to go back to this and put a second coat on our alpine house. So some of these Tuscan Blue and Lapis Flow, I felt like when I was looking at some of those sample test tiles that I liked the way 2 brushed layers looked, but it's hard to know. Amaco usually does a little bit better with those 3 layers, but okay, that's coat number 2 there. Okay, so this is a dip of micro pearl, and I'm going to do this just in the middle and that edge. Try not to go thick on that edge in case this moves a lot. So I don't know if this will go more army green with the micro pearl under. We'll see. Hopefully it'll be pretty. And this is Laguna's Nebula Blue as a base. And this was a dip of Nebula Blue. I have that as a dry mix that I add water to. Okay. What do I have left to do? Okay, so I am going to put some more coats. Yes. All right, so this one is the papaya clay, and this is just going to be kind of a control of this. I'm going to go ahead and put a 3rd coat here and a 3rd coat on the rim because it has some texture at the base of this bowl, and I'm hoping that it'll break nicely. I'm just going to leave 2 brushed coats there, and I am going to put a little bit of flux on this one. We'll wait till it dries before we do that though. Okay, I need one of these as a control. All right, this one is selected as our control. 3rd brushed coat going on here. And we will be able to see sort of I'm layering down a little bit. So those areas closest to my fingers will really only have 2 or 1 coat. See what we prefer. Okay, that's good. For this one, I'm going to go ahead and layer over the New Moon River glaze and see how that does with it. All right, on this one, I'm going to go ahead and use Coyote's Rhubarb as a top layer. I believe the rhubarb is part of their Archie's baseline. So if you have more glazes from that baseline, then they will likely work over this glaze too. Assuming this one does work. It might crawl. All right, for this one I'm going to do Spectrum's Fuzzy Peach. And again, if this works, then many of the other Spectrum floating glazes will work as well. For this one, I'm going to go ahead and put Flux Blossom over top. For this one, I think I'm just going to stick with adding some dirty snow here. That way we'll have sort of a comparison, because I'm going to do that here as well. This is the papaya clay. The small one is the B mix. And then on this one, I'm going to use some on the roof. Like that. And now I'm going to go in and put a 3rd coat right on the front and back of the house. So here is 2 coats with the flux, 3 coats with nothing, and then this door is floating Fuzzy Peach. Results are out of the kiln, and I am happy with Tuscan Blue. Some of these combos are missed for me, but some are really strong, and I love the semi-matte more than I thought I would here. Check out this planter. I definitely love, although I have seen semi-matte not selling as well in my shop, but I love how there's this sort of matte, glossy, matte again. It's just really pretty. I think it has, this glaze has a lot of potential, and it definitely works in a way that some other glazes don't. Let's pop over to the photo table and look at these closely. So for this planter, you can see Tuscan Blue by itself right here. And it's a solid glaze. It's not really moving, and it sort of breaks this sort of rustic greenish brown here. So what I did was 3 coats of Tuscan Blue to here, and then I dipped green tea to here. So another sort of matte glaze at the top. And this dish does have Strontium Crystal Magic, a wispy coat around that top section. So it's definitely where the 3 are overlapping that you're getting more of that gloss with crystals. And it's growing a lot of crystals. It just has such a rich texture and variation to the color. It's a lot to look at. So it's also used here on this planter, but the difference being that this has a full coat of Chunsi foam before applying. So you can see how that Chunsi foam really pulled it over to gloss. So this has a dip of Chunsi foam, Tuscan Blue to here, and then a band of Shipwreck down towards that bottom edge. And it works really well with the Shipwreck, and over Chunsi foam you're starting to get that heavy gloss rainbow look. So really pretty combo. This is my control. That is 3 brushed coats of Tuscan Blue, but here you can see I always layer down on the outside of these, so towards that bottom edge is what 1 coat looks like, and then you're getting that stronger blue where you're getting the 3 coats. And this was over the Imco's Papaya clay. This clay is horrible to work with, which is why I'm using it as a glaze tester. This one has 3 brushed coats of Tuscan Blue and just a little bit of Dirty Snow on that rim to give some more movement. So where the flux is hitting the Tuscan Blue, you're going to have it change over to a more gloss glaze. Now, when it was ×3 over Brown Bear, so here it's ×3, really not holding its color at all. This roof has just a little bit of flux on it too. Not that it made much difference. The door is fuzzy peach, not Tuscan Blue. Although you can see where the fuzzy peach touched the blue that it wants to bring it out. So over Night Glaze, that's a dip of Night, and then Tuscan Blue. Just the color just disappears. So, you know, this is not a glaze that I would use over dark clay or over a dark glaze combo. Just a quick reminder to like and subscribe if you're finding this review helpful. This is ×2 Tuscan Blue with 1 coat of Smoky Merlot over top. Tuscan Blue ×2 with a little bit of Dirty Snow. Our ×2 of Tuscan Blue, 1 has Fuzzy Peach over top and 1 has Flux Blossom over top. And they look pretty identical to me. Pretty impossible to tell which is which. I'm not even going to guess, but Flux Blossom and Fuzzy Peach in this circumstance give about the same result. I will say, when wiping your bottoms with this, it wanted to stain my wax a little bit, and I did end up with some little bit of blue. This was actually my favorite of all the Tuscan Blue samples, and this is Ancient Copper on either side, and then Tuscan Blue down the middle. And I just think Tuscan Blue is a perfect pairing with that Ancient Copper. The shiny to matte way that it breaks is so similar to Ancient Copper that I feel like the 2 really look good together. When it was over Studio White, it's just a solid gloss blue, and I have a lot of those. I won't use that combo in that way because I have cheaper ways of gaining that color. Okay, dip of Micro Pearl, 1 brushed coat of Tuscan Blue. Yeah, not in love with this one for me. It's not horrible, but I do really love it over Chunsi foam though. This was the dip of Chunsi foam, and then Tuscan blue over top. Can you see that hint of gold crystals sort of on the edge here? You kind of get that in some of those Starry Nights or Adventurine, and this is sort of rainbow metallic there. It does look like it wanted to move quite a bit, but I was lucky that it didn't move any further than it did. Tuscan blue ×1 over a dip of variegated dove. Tuscan blue over June Perry purple and on Sheltoe clay, really bringing it to the green-brown side. A dip of birch, 1 brush layer of Tuscan blue. Actually like it here on this edge. I feel like if I was using birch on the bottom edge of a cup, sort of as a solid glaze to stop runs, that would look pretty. The inside, less so, but on the vertical surface where it can pull down, yeah. Coyote's rhubarb over ×2 Tuscan blue. And I believe that's part of their Archie's base line. So if you have any of those, whatever it is, 12 glazes, then you might try them over Tuscan blue and get a great result. Here we have 2 brushed coats of Cirrus Flow and then Tuscan blue over top. Surprised at how brownish it went over Nebula Blue. So that's a dip of Nebula Blue by Laguna. And then, yeah, 2 brushed coats of Winter Wood with 1 coat of Tuscan blue. Completely matte surface. This is not one of those weird things where 2 mattes make a gloss. No, it's definitely matte. This combo would need something with a lot more gloss to it to push it over the edge. Lapis Flow over Tuscan blue. Just, wow, on the Lapis Flow, right? It just really goes electric. It's just such an interesting, vibrant purple with sort of a neon blue outline. Again, that Tuscan blue. Wash your sponge many times. I also really love it over Lunar Pink. So this was 2 brush coats of Lunar Pink and then over top. And it looks like I stopped just in time. It was just on this top edge. Boy, Lunar Pink has really been a surprisingly amazing base for many other glazes. And then lastly, I did a big bowl here. So this is first a dip of Studio White, and then it has seaweed over top of that, and then Tuscan blue on this section here. Tuscan blue really adding a nice depth and sort of weight to some of these green glazes. Definitely like that. So what does everybody think of this glaze? Is it worth adding to your collection? I know there are a lot of blue glazes in the world. Almost every company has a series of blue glazes to choose from. So it's always really hard to tell which ones you should get. I'm not sorry I bought it. I definitely think that it's really pretty, and it has a lot of options. I wouldn't use it over white. I wouldn't use it over night. I wouldn't use it over a dark clay, but I do think that it's a very beautiful blue glaze. I'll be interested to see how it sells. I think that matte glazes photograph a little bit with a little less sort of a dynamic gloss look. So I find it harder to sell matte glazes online. But in person, where somebody can pick something up and feel the satiny texture of it, it's a lot easier. So, I would keep that in mind depending on what your audience is and how you're selling your work, or maybe you're just a hobby potter who likes blue. Either way, thanks for watching. Have a great day, everyone.